take very long. I just wanted to refer us to this question. We had a few issues with it. A lot of us have had a few issues with it, and I've just had an epiphany. An epiphany means a light bulb moment. Calculate the percentage change in road deaths from May 2010 to May 2011. We do know that we, in the past, would have done what fraction there? What fraction would we have done there, Ash? You don't remember? Look back through your book. Have a look back through. Woody, what might we do there?
For New South Wales, we do.
Yeah, let's go with New South Wales, sorry. When this right, New South Wales, yep.
And we do 38 divided by 26.
38 divided by 26. Is that the new amount over the old amount? What might we do?
26.
Yeah, yep. So hopefully you remember that New South Wales would look like new amount over original amount. Remember that? And so we would have done 26 over 38. The epiphany I've had is that it's percentage change. Okay? And so the change is 38 take 26, which is... No, what's 38 take 26? 12. The change is 12, and the original amount is 38. All right? So try that process, and that might match up the results a little bit better. Purely and simply based on that little phrase there, the change. Okay? See how that goes. But we're still using this one, new amount over original amount. What you did prior in 3H1 was you set up a series of tables, okay, and you worked out after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you worked out the total in interest earned, all right? You just did it every year, all right? You wouldn't have got it just quite yet, but that's what you do in 3H1, all right? But in 3H2, they're asking you to use this formula. Okay, the formula being FV equals PV 1 plus I to the power of N. Okay, FV being the future value, what will that amount accrue to into the future? Ryan, if you're going to ask this question, instead of rolling up, maybe you'd pay attention this way. PV is about the present value. How much money are you investing now, or how much are you borrowing now? All right. Interest is the interest, that's okay. And N is the number of periods. Now, the number of periods with compound interest is it's compounded more than once during a year often. So if it's compounded monthly for 3 years, how many compound periods are there? Compound monthly for 3 years. It's 3 times 12, which therefore it'd be 36. Okay? Now with your calculations, you're putting in the amount, then starting brackets, 1 point, whatever the interest is, end the brackets and raise to the power of, on that occasion it was 36. Now the beauty of the compound interest formula, in the simple interest formula, you'll remember that that just gives you interest. And so if you want to know what your total was, you've got to then add that to your original amount. All right. Well, with compound interest, this formula gives you all of this. It gives you your amount of interest and your original amount put together. So if you put $6,000 in and you got $2,000 in interest, then this answer will come out to be $8,000 and it will give you the both. All right? And that's why it says if you want to find out what the interest is, you've got to take the future value when you get that from what you put in, and that would give you your interest that you would have earned. All right? Now, Ryan knows these tables take a very long time and they're quite cumbersome. There are some times, Ryan, where you can calculate your compound interest daily for 25 years. Now, can you do that on your calculator? 25 years daily? And what would your N there be?
25 years daily.
Yeah.
So like every day.
Yeah.
Right.
How many is that?
9,125.
9,125. Can you imagine doing this all the way down to 9,125?
Mhm.
Okay? Do your heading, you'd lose where you are, you'd probably make errors. Okay? So this compound interest formula is very valuable because it doesn't make you have to do all those tables, Ryan, which I'm sure particularly you would really appreciate that. Okay? So if we look at a question of how that evolves, we can see here what will $5,000 invested at 8% per annum compound interest amount to after 2 years? Okay? Over time, Woody, you'll get compound interest and simple interest questions all chucked in at once. All right? And so what you've got to look for is the word compound or compounded. All right? The words for simple interest is simple interest or flat. It's a flat interest. It's very basic. All right? So in a question, you'll see those words, in which case you've got to use I equals pin. Remember we were doing that formula, and you guys have been into that now. At the moment you see compounded, then you've got to use FV equals PV 1 plus I to the power of N. All right. So this one, your PV, you're investing 5,000. Okay, you're investing 5,000. Your interest is 8%, which as a decimal is 0.08, 8 over 100. So it's 1.08, and it's raised to the power of 2 because this is in years. All right. That comes out to 5,832. Then they ask you how much interest is earned. Remember that you have to do FV take PV, which is what they've done there. FV, 5,832. Take your PV, which is your present value. How much did you put in? So that got you $832 in interest. If we have a look at this first question, 6,000 is invested for 4 years at 8%. What will the investment amount to after the interest is calculated at simple interest? So here, we're using I equals pin. All right. And what will this investment amount to? So with this one, you're going to once you find your interest, what are you going to have to do, Lee? To your 6,000, yeah? Once you find your interest, you're going to have to add it to your 6,000, all right? In this one, it's saying how much compound interest. 1 plus I raised to the power of N, all right? What's your PV here, Brian? What's your PV? What's your present value? What's the amount you're going to invest or the amount you're loaning?
6,000.
6,000 is PV. What's your I?
8%.
Which as a decimal is?
0.0.
Good work. 0.08. And what's your N?
4 years.
4. N is 4. I is that. Okay? So that's using the compound interest formula. The compound interest formula is a very, very useful one, and you'll be using it a lot in year 10, 11 and 12. Okay? Any questions with that, or can I explain it better?
How do you get like the 4n into your thingy, like into your calculator?
Into your calculator, you'll probably have a button which looks like this. Y raised to the power of X.
Go through that once more.
Yep. Which one? This question?
Yeah.
Yep. On how we found them, or how we would do it on our calculator?
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I actually can't follow that one.
Yep. No worries. Good.
What is the like y but x like how do you put that into calculator? I have the button.
Yeah, you just press that button,
So
Then you put whatever number you
and then you put the 4 after.
it just be like
Yep, so I'll quickly do the buttons that you press, Jack, and then I'll re-explain it. Okay, so what it was future value equals 6,000 times 1.08, and then you'd press X, XY or YX, it depends on what you've got, and then you'd press 4, because it's raised to the power of 4. Okay, now, back to what we said Okay, so we've got that. That's your formula. This says what your future value will be. So when you invest money in a bank or when you borrow money off a bank, they charge you interest. We spoke about that yesterday. Okay? They don't say, oh, look, Jack, you can lend me $6,000 and you can only have $6,000 back. If you're going to lend me $6,000, you want a bit more, you want a bit of a bonus for that, don't you? And that comes in the form of interest. Okay? So if I loan $6,000 off you, I might have to pay you $8,000 back. In which case, I'm giving you the 6 plus another $2,000 in interest. All up, you get 8 back. Does that make sense? Okay. So in this future value, this is that 8,000. In the future, when I get it back, I'm going to get the interest and the 6. In the future. All right. So put yourself in these shoes. All right. Shall we run with that example where I'm borrowing money off you? That makes sense? We'll roll with that.
Is this question 2?
So I'm borrowing $6,000. Okay? I'm going to borrow it off you. And in 4 years' time, I'm going to pay you that $6,000 back, but I'm going to have to pay you some interest back as well. Because you're a nice guy, but you're not going to say, here, just pay me back the $6,000. That's all right. You can have my $6,000 for 4 years where I can't spend it or do anything with it. All right? So you're loaning me money. All right? You in the picture there? So the present amount that I am borrowing is $6,000. I'm borrowing that off you.
So you don't know the future value yet.
Not yet. We don't know what we're paying back yet.
So you got to work the other stuff.
Yeah. I know that you're going to lend it to me at 8%. And we know that it's over 4 years. It's in the question.
Yeah,
All right. So, Lee, sorry, when you did that, what answer did you get? Or can you haven't got a calculator, have you?
Oh, I got like 8,000.
8,000 flat, was it?
No,
Are you able to do it just quickly, please? 6,000 times 1.08 raised to the power of 4.
Okay.
What is that, Ryan?
8,162.
$8,162.
And then, yeah, to round it off, it's like $63.
63 cents.
No, $63 because it's 9.
Ah. Yep. So, what I'm paying back to you in 4 years' time, the future value I'm going to have to pay you in the future, in 4 years' time, is $8,163. Now, what does that $8,163 make up? The $8,163 makes up interest of $2,163 plus the original $6,000, sorry, that I borrowed.
So is the answer 2,163 or is it 8,000?
Well, it depends what the question is asking. If it's asking
You don't round
what
it
will
off.
this investment amount to, then it'll amount to
You
8,163.
don't round it off.
Yeah, no worries. If they're asking you, what will amount to, it'll amount to 8,163. But if they ask you how much interest did that investment occur, how much interest did I have to pay you for borrowing that 6,000? Well, I paid you $2,163 in the interest. Is that okay?
Yeah, I got it.
No worries.
I looked at the answer and I think it's wrong.
No worries, mate. We'll have a look at that in a minute.
It's 7,000.
All right, so with simple interest, we're using the PIN formula, all right? And the PIN formula, the way I wouldn't mind just setting it out is to do it like this. And then right from the very start of a question, you know what is principal, what is interest, and what is the number of periods, all right? So let's pick this one out to start with, because that's a little bit easier. Find the simple interest payable on an investment of. So you are putting this $3,000 into a bank, Alright, so the principal, or the amount you're putting in, is $3,000. The principal is always dollars.